Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming out to our Open Democracy panel. Special question, who in the room here is under 26? Special thank you for coming out. It's really awesome that you're here, and I'm about to tell you why. So like Bruna said, my name is McKenzie Richardson. I am a second-year student at UC San Diego, and I am freshly 20. My birthday was last week. So I'm very young. But I'm going to talk to you today about why young voters matter, and especially why we need to make sure they're out to the polls. So I am the chapter chair of CalPIRG at UCSD. CalPIRG stands for the California Public Interest Research Group. We were founded by students at UC Berkeley in 1972, and our entire mission was to stand up against special, powerful interests by uniting students together to find real issues to real-world modern problems. So some of our accomplishments have been, last year we got McDonald's and Subway to stop selling meat raised on antibiotics, which was really important because that's a really big public health issue right now. Yeah. And currently we're working on In-N-Out and KFC right now too, so stay tuned. In addition to that, over the last 8 years, we passed 138 plastic bag bans in California cities and counties, which is really awesome because Prop 67 is on the ballot this year, and you all get to vote on whether or not we want to keep our statewide single-use plastic grocery bag ban. So keep that in mind, research Prop 67. In addition to that, one of my favorites is that since 2012, we've registered over 40,000 students across the state to vote via the New Voters Project. Yes. Yes, definitely something to clap about for this reason. So, the New Voters Project, and the picture on the left is actually my chapter at UCSD at our table this last week. We're all very cute and young. And on the right is actually UC Riverside. Go Highlanders. So the New Voters Project, what is this? First of all, who here registered to vote when they turned 18? Okay, cool, a lot of you. Wow, that's really impressive. Who participated in the first election they were eligible to participate in? Okay, about the same. A couple hands went down. Right, and you know, this is actually a little bit skewed since all of you are, you know, obviously civically engaged people. If I were to pick people randomly, like at a regular, you know, off the street, these numbers would be very, very different, and it would not be the majority of you. And so the reason why is that we have an issue of youth voting in America. And we are targeting the youth vote with New Voters Project because 18 to 26-year-olds are the largest and most diverse demographic voting bloc. We are actually tied with baby boomers this year, which has never happened before. Yeah, it's a little bit scary, but it's also really important because that means a lot of young people have a huge stake in policy decisions. A lot of us are turning 18 for the first time this year, and it is our first time voting. And this is important because the younger a person starts voting, usually from 18 onward, the more likely they are to be civically engaged for life. And that, you know, can start not only at 18, but even at 24, 26, 30. Usually the first time a person votes, the more likely they're going to do it the next time. So what are the barriers to youth voting? Why is this a problem? Well, in 2014, only 8.4% of eligible voters turned out to vote, which is a really, really large issue. And the reason for this is that a lot of us don't really know exactly how to vote. It's our first time. So a lot of us don't register to vote in time. We don't know when the voter registration deadline is. We aren't registered locally, and we don't understand that because, you know, we live in a different place where we're registered, we'll have a completely different slate than what we were expecting. This is especially important for college students who are moving across the state or across the country. There's also a really large disconnect sometimes between important issues and voting. In addition to that, a lot of young people don't feel that they're educated enough on topics to vote, which is, you know, something that all voters kind of face, but it's especially prevalent in young people who feel like they're so early in life that they just don't know enough. In addition to that, once people are actually registered to vote, sometimes they don't know where their local polling places are. Sometimes you're lucky it's on your college campus or close to where you live. Sometimes it's not. And, in addition to that, we all have busy lives, and sometimes for students, you all probably understand this, it's tough when you have a busy schedule between work and school, and you got to go find a time to turn in your ballot. In addition to that, this seems like it's something that wouldn't happen, but it really does. You don't even know it's election day. Sometimes there's not enough visual cues, or if you don't see your polling place, there's not really a good reminder. Sometimes you just forget. So these are all really big issues. So how do we fix these issues? How do we bridge this gap? So CalPERG is running New Voters Project. It's a nonpartisan voter registration specifically tailored towards registering young people. And our goal this year is to register over 10,000 new voters in California. That's about 1,000 new voters at every UC campus, and a couple of state campuses we're also running this campaign at. We want 10,000 pledge to votes in California. Pledge to votes means the student fills out a card with their contact information, kind of reminding themselves that they need to go vote, and then giving us a get out the vote contact, which we have a goal of 50,000, and that will allow us to text, call, email them to remind them to turn in their ballot. So what are some of the tactics we're using to register the youth? In addition to tabling, which is a very classic way of registering people, we also really want to utilize technologies such as online voter registration. So we actually had this website created for us. It's californiastudentvote.com or .org. It is an online voting tool that's completely nonpartisan, and not only does it allow you to register voters online, but it also provides a link to nonpartisan issues that will be on the ballots that gives you more information and more education on some of those issues. And it's really cool because we can actually send this out to a lot of the school campuses and ask them to send a campus-wide email with this and encouraging students to register to vote. And this benefits us because we can keep track of how many new voters we have registered, and it gives us get out the vote contacts. So it's very, very cool. In 2012, we registered 12,000 people to vote on the website, which is a really big deal. And last week, UC Berkeley actually sent out an email with this website, and they registered about 500 people to vote when they sent it out, which is really awesome. In addition to that, for Get Out the Vote, we have a couple of tactics we're using specifically for that. Texting is a really big one. I know a lot of people yell at us for being on our phones all the time, but it actually really works. We found that in 2012, by texting a person, reminding them to go out and vote, we can actually increase a person's likeliness to turn out by 4%, which is really huge. In addition to that, we can use websites to send out mass text to people, which is really cool. And we really want to utilize social media as well. So something that I wanted to work on is actually using Snapchat. For those of you who don't know what that is, Snapchat is essentially a photo app that allows you to take pictures and send them to your friends, or you have your own personal profile that your friends can see. And Snapchat is really special because it has something called a photo filter. And so what I wanted to do is make a New Voters Project photo filter, not only reminding people to go register to vote, but showing people that it's cool to be civically engaged. It's truly, it's cool to have, to be able to go out and turn in your ballot. And then Facebook is also a really great way to do voter registration. Some of you have seen the voter registration banner on Facebook. They did the same banner in April for the primaries, and when they ran that, they actually registered over 200,000 people to vote in April, which is really awesome. So all of these things are some of the tactics we're using for registering the youth vote. And I just had a rhetorical question for all of you. So is it democracy if part of the voting population doesn't know how to vote? So like I said, 8.4 turned out in the 2014 election. That's so low, and that it's not an accurate representation of the youth and what we think and feel. So we need to really work on registering the youth so that we can have accurate democracy. So I want to end with our New Voters Project motto. It's our future, it's our vote, it's our turn. New Voters Project 2016. Thank you all.